James may have her eyes set on a brand new target. Now, this person did exactly what former President Donald Trump did by overvaluing his New York property. Now, you would think that she would be all over this person, right? But if that person's on the same team as you, do you still call the foul? You know what I'm saying? Guys, I have a big show planned for us today, so I cannot wait to get into it. All I ask is that you guys take 1 second, drop a quick like for the video. I totally appreciate that, guys. And I also want to thank you so much for always sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter. You guys are absolutely amazing. Happy Easter to everyone. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. If you're able to see and hear me okay, definitely hit me up in the comments, drop a like, say something, make sure you're able to see and hear me okay. So Jon Stewart gets caught after bashing Donald Trump. But what does Letitia James do about it, right? What does Letitia James do about this overvalued property in New York City, huh? Well, we're going to talk about that today, right? Now, you would think that this would raise a lot of concerns once again, because, you know, Letitia James and Judge Arthur Engoron in New York City, they thought that Donald Trump doing this was an offense that warranted a fine of almost $500 million. How do you get away with overvaluing your real estate assets like this, sir? You know, just because you're a billionaire and entrepreneur and successful real estate investor in New York City, you can't get away with this. I don't care if you're Donald Trump. In fact, because you're Donald Trump, we're going to fine you $500 million. This is exactly what the far leftists and New York Attorney General Letitia James and Arthur Engoron think about this, right? However, many people speculate that Letitia James, she's not going to do anything about this guy who, by their own standards, broke the law. That's because we're now talking about the same guy who blasted Donald Trump for doing what he's also allegedly guilty of doing as well. So let's talk about Jon Stewart. All right. Now, before we get to that, let's talk about another problem that New York has. OK, this is the issue of illegal immigrants coming in and sucking up all of the local government resources. Not only that, but crime is exploding in New York City right now. I mean, you know, Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank investor, co-host, billionaire, real estate developer, he already warned us about how bad New York City is getting for investors and, people not wanting to kind of like invest any new money in there and possibly pull old investment money out and kind of scaring off business owners and whatnot. Well, get this, guys. It's also gotten to a point where many lawmakers are asking, what is New York City doing about this, right? Because we all know that their attorney generals, they're in a position, you know, for one goal and one goal only. I mean, she's pretty much just hell bent on taking Donald Trump down. But the funny thing is, it's just kind of made them a little bit tone deaf as to what officials in the borders are actually saying. And to them, we're facing a national crisis. Take a listen.
We're at, closing out on 1 million entries this fiscal year alone. That number is a large number, but what's keeping me up at night is the 140,000 known gotaways.
That is not part of that tally.
That is not part of that tally. If we don't know who is coming into our country and we don't know what their intent is, that is a threat, and they're exploiting a vulnerability that's on our border right now.
So he may be appointed by the Biden administration, but he's speaking, look out, he's giving a warning to the administration.
Yeah, ultimately, look, think about it this way. If you're ISIS, you want to attack the United States, you say, hey, we got to get 10 people in there to do an attack. Well, it's easy. Let's just send them across the southern border. We already traffic people for money. Let's just stick 10 of them in there with fake passports. These guys you can buy passports. There's like dozens of countries that you can buy a document that says you're so-and-so, and it's an official government document you bribe somebody for. Now you're inside of America. And it only took 4 people to do what they did in Moscow. We've had 9 million something people that have entered this country unlawfully and illegally. It only takes 4 to do this kind of carnage.
But Senator,
Guys, this is scary, right? Now, as you guys may know, this is Senator Marco Rubio that was talking about the attack in Russia, okay? That was just 4 people, right? And think about 9/11, how many people it took to, cause the damage and carnage of 9/11. I mean, heck, how many people did it take to operate the ship that crashed the ship that was headed towards Singapore to crash into the Baltimore Scott Key Bridge just the other day and cause the entire bridge to collapse in Baltimore, Maryland, right? So when you think about how few people it takes to cause a tremendous amount of pain and devastation, it's a little bit concerning. So the Border Patrol is talking about 140,000 known gotaways, right? And of course, this is an insanely high number when you take into consideration just how many people are needed for these kinds of, these types of attacks. Now, of course, others have different theories when it comes to these kinds of things, right? But it doesn't take away the fact that our borders are just simply unsafe. I mean, what are you guys thinking about this, right? Now, just recently, House Speaker Mike Johnson, he spoke to Texas Governor Greg Abbott about the exact same situation over there, right? So Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he told Johnson that the situation at the border is both unacceptable and it's unavoidable at the same time, right? So the governor is pushing for the House Speaker to do the right thing for America and pass some border security legislation that would ultimately kind of help stop the illegal crossings. Now, he also talked about Operation Lone Star. And we all know that that's been very successful because illegal immigrants have ultimately kind of opted to enter the country through other states. Now, basically, Texas is off limits, right? So illegal immigrants have opted to enter the country through other states like Arizona and California because of the policies that Greg Abbott has put in place. The problem is even though Johnson talked to Abbott about this national security concern, many people are saying that he's leaning towards sending money to Ukraine first. Can you believe this? Like, Joe Biden, what are you doing, man? I mean, are you trying to give America away? What's up, right? So Johnson has stonewalled funding for other countries if it doesn't involve funding for our borders, right? However, sources very close to the speaker, they've also said that he understands the political tightrope that he's walking right now. And if Johnson does decide to fund Ukraine before our borders, then his colleagues in the House might do something similar to what they did to former Speaker Mike McCarthy. Remember how they booted him out of office, right? Now, what do you guys think about this so far? Like, can you believe this? This is madness. I just want to jump in the comments and see what you guys are saying right now. Where are you guys watching from? Happy Easter, everyone. Show me some love in the comments. And all right, so we got John Spence in here. We got James Ritchie. We've got Michael Ashford, Arthur, Debbie. What is going on, everyone? Penny, I see you in here. Conchetta Tucker, Judy Stoller. All right, so a lot of people are saying, get rid of him. All right. Okay. I see you, Robert Woods. So Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has already filed a motion to vacate Mike Johnson, right? So, all right. So Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's already filed a motion to basically oust or boot Mike Johnson out as speaker and has warned him not to put the Ukraine funding on the House floor. Don't even waste our time. She warned him, right? Meanwhile, you got Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. He is basically asking why they're waiting so long for their money. Can you imagine somebody coming up to you to borrow money? You're not a bank, you're not a lender, right? Someone comes up to you to borrow money. They already owe you a lot of money to begin with. And then they're asking for more money, and then they have the audacity to say, what's the holdup? Are you freaking kidding me? Really? Anyway, so you got Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky basically asking why they're having to wait so long for their money. It's not their money. It's not their. Let me know, guys. Maybe I'm off base. Is the American taxpayer money belonging to the Ukrainians? Like, really? You got to be freaking kidding me, right? So he says that they've already wasted half a year, and that there's no more time to waste. Okay, so we're wasting their time. We better go ahead and get on with that, right? So the United States Congress has to approve the funding for the Ukraine or risk having Russia win this war. Well, okay, I don't really know the exact, because no one really knows the exact ramifications of what would happen if Russia were to win this war, right? But at the same time, we're not the Ukraine. Now, speaking of winning, let's now move on to former President Donald Trump, as he's hoping to raise quite a bit of money over in Florida. And I know Florida's like probably popping right now because it's spring break about to start. We got Easter today. A lot of people. How many of you guys are going out of town, or maybe you have family coming in town? Are any of you guys going out of town this weekend? Because it's like, it's Easter. It's like the start of spring break for a lot of schools. Y'all got kids out. Let me know what y'all are planning. So anyway, Florida's got a lot of stuff going on right now. So Donald Trump, he's hoping to raise quite a bit of money in Florida right now. And man, I checked Airbnb and VRBO, and so many of these Airbnbs and hotels, they are booked. So apparently people are putting travel and vacation, they're making it a priority this year. But anyway, so Donald Trump, he's hoping to raise a lot of money in Florida. In fact, it's been said that the wealthy GOP donors hope to come up with at least $33 million at this fundraiser for the former president as he tries to kind of bridge the funding gap between him and current President Biden, right? But what's worth noting here is that the event didn't even start yet, right? So Donald Trump's event didn't even start yet, and they've already raised that amount, $33 million. They didn't even start the event yet. So, it's funny, like they're trying to take Donald Trump down, but it's like everything they try to do to harm him, it's like somehow helping him. So I think the far left is screwing this thing up. So what's going on, everyone? I see all you guys checking in the comments. Happy Easter to you. I appreciate that. You guys are amazing. All right. So basically, Donald Trump's campaign is set to go over the $26 million that President Joe Biden raised in New York City, or the state of New York, recently, which is a big move. That's actually a big move for Donald Trump. However, many people expect that Donald Trump won't be able to match what Biden's campaign is raising due to a number of reasons. Now, just comment down below. Do you think Donald Trump will be able to outraise in terms of campaign funding? Do you think Donald Trump will be able to outraise Biden's campaign? Just let me know. If you think Trump can outraise him in terms of campaign funding, type in Trump. And if you think Biden will probably outraise Donald Trump, type in Biden in the comments. I want to see what you guys think on that one. Now, one of these things will be one of the reasons why some experts are saying Donald Trump would not be able to raise as much money as Biden is because basically the number of legal troubles that Donald Trump is facing and dealing with right now, right? These legal troubles, can you imagine like retainer fee, lawyer retainer fees? I mean, how many lawyers does Donald Trump have on retainer right now? I don't know if you've ever had to do business with an attorney, or you look at their hourly rates, and attorneys are not cheap. They have astronomical fees, and the cost of an attorney, whether you're trying to get a will or you're defending yourself against legal litigation, a criminal attorney. In many of Donald Trump's businesses, he needs real estate attorneys, maybe probate attorneys. These attorney fees can blow up easily, right? And think about, you got Alina, Habba, you got Steve Siddall. These are like the most well-known attorneys that are representing Donald Trump between New York and his Georgia case, right? But he's also got a Florida case, and he has teams of attorneys on each one of his cases. And let's not forget about Washington, D.C. So I can only imagine, Trump's legal fees. And this is why some people are feeling like Donald Trump would struggle to raise enough money, because some of that money would have to be used for legal fees in comparison to Biden, who doesn't have any legal fees. But according to you guys, it looks like Donald Trump, a lot of you guys are voting for Donald Trump in terms of being able to raise more money than Biden. That's a beast. Now, what I do want to say, though, is if Donald Trump ends up winning that presidential election, I would kind of almost imagine that that's the only way Biden would end up being placed on trial for what he's been accused of doing in terms of, all these different businesses that he claims to not be a part of in collusion with his son Hunter Biden. And so do you guys think that Hunter Biden and President Biden will be put on trial if Donald Trump were to win the presidency? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. But the troubles that they keep sending toward Donald Trump is so funny because it seems like they end up doing more good than harm. But that's another story. So, which leads me to talk about Jon Stewart. Now, let me know if you guys ever watched Jon Stewart. I actually like Jon Stewart. I think he's funny. Now, just because you like someone doesn't mean you agree with everything, right? But I think Jon Stewart is pretty funny. And, I'm an independent. I can see the good and the bad of both sides. So, Jon Stewart, you might see him on the Daily Show from, I think it was is it Comedy Central? I don't know if you guys watch Comedy Central or whatever. Anyway, so Jon Stewart, he went on this tirade against former President Donald Trump regarding his New York City civil fraud case against Judge Arthur Engoron and Letitia James, right? So Jon Stewart says that this is not a victimless crime. So he disagrees, right? So he disagrees, Jon Stewart says that this is not a victimless crime, even though none of the banks reported anything to the authorities and all of them were paid in full with interest. The banks were profitable. It was a great business transaction between the banks and Donald Trump. He disagrees. He says, so Jon Stewart basically threw all sorts. Jon Stewart went off. He threw all sorts of insults at Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, saying that, what Trump did was actually common within the investment community, which according to Kevin O'Leary, this is very common. And it's not just Kevin O'Leary saying that Donald Trump's strategy or his approach to real estate investing and the details that he provided, the valuations that he provided of his real estate assets is not uncommon. But on top of that, a lot of people are ignoring the fact that Donald Trump provided the valuations of his assets, but he also has provided a disclaimer that says, hey, this is what I'm saying that my assets are worth. Okay. We came to our own figures, but do not rely solely on our figures. Do your own due diligence, do your own research. So he already, how is that fraud when you say, this is what I came up with, but you check it for yourself because you may disagree. We've already covered this, guys. You ask 10 different real estate appraisers what the value of a property is, you're going to get 10 different answers. Why? Because different appraisers and different real estate evaluators, which are appraisers, they're going to come up with, they're going to view it differently. There are so many different ways you can evaluate property values. Anyway, so going back to this, right? So basically what Donald Trump did is this is common practice, and I completely disagree with let me know if you disagree with the judgment that New York City came for this crime, right? Like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. So here you have Jon Stewart basically doing the same thing that he's knocking Donald Trump for doing. It's like, dude, wait, you're doing the same thing. How you over here talking smack, right? So anyway, basically, Jon Stewart, he pretty much just knocked what Kevin O'Leary was saying. He knocked what Donald Trump is doing. He added that this isn't giving investors a very good picture of New York because, why would they bring their business to a place that would charge them $500 million for something that's seen as common practice, right? So Kevin O'Leary, he's done with New York, right? However, a recent report actually showed that Trump and Stewart actually have something very similar in common. So if we go back to 2014, right? Jon Stewart, he's a comedian, TV personality. He was reported to have sold a home in New York for $17.5 million. So Jon Stewart reportedly sold a house in New York for $17.5 million US dollars, right? Now, reports are coming out that he may have overvalued his property by 829%. Guys, an overvaluation of his property by 829%? Really? Now, a lot of critics were quick to kind of point out the hypocrisy of Jon Stewart as he went on Twitter, aka X, to respond. Now, let's just say that he was pretty smug about it, right? So he says that he's been caught doing something that is not even remotely similar to Donald Trump. Wait. Maybe I've been sleeping behind the wheel here, guys, but didn't Donald Trump get hemmed up with a $500 million bill from New York City for quote unquote overvaluing his real estate assets, his real estate holdings? So how is this not even remotely similar to Donald Trump? Really? Let me know, guys. If I'm off base, please let me know. If you agree, let me know. Either way, if you agree or disagree. Even though we all know it's exactly the opposite of what he's saying, right? Like Jon Stewart went on to say, he went on to kind of reference other cases that the former president is involved in and didn't include the fraud case of which he would probably also be guilty of. Almost kind of like how Fannie Willis is like, it's not about me and my relationship. We need to stick to the facts, right? Yeah, you want to stick to whatever doesn't shine the light on your own guilt and your own dirty laundry, right? Let's just focus on other people. And don't worry about what I'm doing wrong over here, basically, right? And so, no, he did not deny that he overvalued his property and made millions of dollars off of it. So this, believe it or not, guys, check this out, right? So this ended up leading Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba. So this led Alina Habba to ultimately be asking what's going to be done by Attorney General Letitia James, right? Because there's a ton of people on Twitter saying that Stewart victimized whoever bought his property back then. So this could be worse than what Donald Trump is accused of doing, right? Because this would mean that this would actually be a victim case, right? Like this is not a victimless case like what Donald Trump was involved with. Because if someone bought the property based on an overvaluation, right? So Alina Habba is now looking for Letitia James, and pretty much said, they're asking if Jon Stewart would be investigated for the next 3 years like they did to Donald Trump, right? So she then said that James' catchphrase is, "No one is above the law," right? Forgot my floating quotes, my air quotes. Now, a lot of analysts they're kind of already expecting that a whole lot of nothing is going to end up getting done to Jon Stewart because he's one of them, right? If you're one of them, if you're part of the club, if you're part of the Dem club, if you're part of the far left, they're not gonna, they ignore certain things. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, which would only prove that the accusations and the charges against Donald Trump are solely because of his name, right? The accusations, they're solely against Donald Trump because his name is on the 2024 presidential ballot. So, but what do you guys think about this? I just want to know what you guys think about this. By the way, if you're just now joining the live, hit the like button, show some support for the channel. I really appreciate you guys. We got 904 people in here. We probably might even hit 1,000 people in this live here. We only got 390 likes. Really? Are y'all mad at me or something? Drop a like for the video. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are good. You guys are great. You guys are amazing. Happy Easter. I want to jump in the comments right quick. We got Lando saying Trump 2024. We got Becky Sharp in here. Never a Jon Stewart fan. That's cool too. Not everybody's gonna like Jon Stewart. I thought his comedy was funny. I do think that his comedy is funny. But of course, sometimes some of the jokes they do kind of like, Anyway, overall, I think he's pretty good. Let's see. We got Gail Brown in the house. We got Mr. T 341, sir. Brenda Jackson, happy Easter to you as well. Let's see. Ron, another great topic. This is from Rocco Sagaris Sr. Ron, another great topic. It's the double standard that usually backfires. Comedians, entertainers should stay out of politics. They're only going to bring themselves down. It's just baffling. I feel you, man. I feel you. C1 Sun says assets sell for whatever the price the seller is willing to pay. I think you mean assets sell for whatever the price the buyer is willing to pay. A sale is an agreement between two people who agree on the price. Exactly. The only question is, what is it worth to the seller, and can the buyer pay? Right. Basically, a price, a value of any product it's literally that is the market value. Whatever the market can agree upon, and then a transaction takes place, right? If a house is if a house is listed for $500,000 and it sits on the market, that tells you that the property value did not meet what the market was willing to pay for, and that's why the property sits on the market, right? Whatever transaction goes through, it's because two people agreed on the price. Anyway, so okay, Cheyenne RN, Stewart has a victim. I hope they bring suit. Thank you for your comment, Cheyenne. Let's see. Teresa Lee, happy Easter to you as well. Thank you so much to you and your family. Let's see. C1 Sun, Myrna from Puerto Rico. John Lighton, what is going on, brother? He never misses an episode. Good morning to you. You're welcome for the update. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and break out here. I just want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel and make sure your notification bell's turned on. That way you'll get the notifications when we go live and release new videos and whatnot. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me on this Easter Sunday. I hope you guys make it a great one, and I'll see you soon.